You need to open the chat.
Disclaimer. The information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
The process of understanding is very simple. The process is, as I explained last time, I explained more in detail. We are created out of the rays within the center of the universe. In interaction and reduction in strength and division by the strength in certain strength fields, in collection of the totality of the expansion of the universe, some energies, some dynamic fields have come together. Over billions of years, these fields lead to the creation of what we call the sun. Where the plasma gathers together. The same process repeats again because the sun is the same as the energy center of the universe. Now, the heavier, the larger amount of the energy which is collected in this span of the universe, the sun that irradiates out, does the same thing again. Radiates its fields out, and in interaction with the itself, with the fields of itself, leads to creation of planet. In that process of the creation of planet, the same process happens again. in the interaction of the fields of the earth with its environment and cooling and exchange with the strength of the other things in the environment of the space of the solar system, leads to creation of man, cell, matter state. And that itself, in coming together and slowing down in certain ways, as we call, leads to another sun. We call the soul of the man. This is the truth about the life and creation of the man. But if the soul of the man can understand and absorb and be correct with his conduct, he can become the strength of the fields and carry the strength of the field of the planet which came to this creation. And if the soul can understand with the same process, can interact, can be correct, can absorb with itself the totality of the strength of what it needs, it shall become the sun. And then the same soul has the energy that it can absorb within the solar system, within the galaxy, shall become the center of the universe. Earth, we call it the rain, come from and goes back to. Solar system, we call it planetary system. We come from the rays, we become the planet, and we go back to the mother. The same thing happens with the galaxies, with the solar systems, which they get absorbed back in and they chewed up back into the universe. The life, the process of existence in the universe is the same. It doesn't matter what exchange and what extent. So, what is the man fighting for? Why do we fight for something which has come from the point of the creation, and in the process it goes back to the creation? The soul of the man, as the energy of the earth, gives the face of the man, the face of the earth, and that process is the same for the soul of the man. Our soul, in reduction in strength, in interaction with the emotion of the field of the environment, leads to manifestation of the existence of the man. But once it's completed, does it need the face? Or can it be and becomes free from it, what we call the soul of the man, be free and detached from its existence? Our soul is part of the process of the creation. The key to one question for man shall be in the future to be answered. As we saw the sun became the earth, and as we saw the earth became man's soul, what would be the destiny of the soul of the man now becomes free at the point of departure from physicality? Would it become the sun for creation of another life, or many lives, or correction of lives? This shall be, and this is how it happens. When you create a soul, which is not correct, which is misconduct by itself cannot give, you lead to the creation of this next cycle of creation, which has started the wrong way, the wrong strength. This is one thing the man has never understood. You become the creator of another universe, another cycle. And this is what you have to judge within the structure of the soul of the man. What would I like that cycle to be? In the physical life, we create children. In the dimension of the life of the soul of the man, what that soul will create. If man has thought up to now, that's it, my end, my point, when I die is finished, there's as much fallacy that when the sun is destroyed in any shape or form, there shall be nothing left. But we know the part of the sun becomes part of the galaxy and becomes part of new life. So shall be the soul of the man. The judgment of the man has to be according to what he sees the future his soul can conduct to be. The day of judgment is for the man, not in front of the Creator. That what my soul judges to be and what shall create. Man never understood and shall never understand till can solve this dilemma within itself. The reality is very, very, very real. And that is, as we've seen, the energy of the galaxy become the sun, the energy of the sun has become the earth, and the energy of the earth has become the soul of the man. So shall be the soul of the man, which is the energy itself, another cycle of life. How can you change when you don't understand? How can you change the process of understanding if you do not understand the process of the creation? Do we need to extend the understanding of the man that what is the future he brings? We care about our children, what education they get, what they wear, how happy they'll be, where they sleep. Now the man has to be careful and consider what life shall my soul create, because those are the children of your soul. As we see, the rays of the sun has become a planet and 7 million children of it. 7 billion unlimited, which is growing. So the soul of the man will go through the same process. How many billions and subdivisions and sub-material state of the physicality of the man your soul shall create? Would it be the soul of wars and conflict and forever killing? Or would it be the soul of this, let's say, solar system, which is peaceful? This is the truth and the reality about the soul of the man. First of all, as I said many times recently, we never understood that the soul of the man is within the structure of the man. And now that we understood, we understand on departure from the physicality of the man, the same process will carry on as it did for a star, a planet. And the soul of the man becomes another energy source, a higher order, which itself leads to the creation. It becomes the star, it becomes the center of the new cycle of creation. This is what the human race has to understand. The cycle actually starts from the point of death and not finishes at the point of death. In so many ways, if one understands, is as the dusts, specks of dust came together to make the earth in the solar system, so has the specks of the atoms has come to be the creator of man. And the essence of the creation of the specks of dust on the solar system has led to the creation of man. So shall be the fields from the soul of the man which lead to creation of another cycle of life. What kind of life man would like to have to be created by his soul? This is the day of judgment. This is what man never understood. Now you have to understand. You have no choice. Up to today you were not aware of it. From today you are aware of it. You are responsible for it. Your conduct has to be to elevate your soul. That in elevating the soul, what you become the creator of stands correct in the conduct of the citizens. We don't give fairy tale. This is the truth. But as you've seen, the process does not stop with one sun. The cycle carries on. It's very interesting in how humanity now knows in fact to handle the fact. It'll take decades for man to understand, and then you understand those who become the tools of war, the tools of conflict. They have nothing to start with. They have to become the dust in the solar system of the others till the day they learn more, as they cannot create a new cycle through their own soul. This is the elevation of the soul of the man. To be part of the creation of a beautiful life for the next cycle. When you don't have it, you have to become another cell in the body of the structure of the bigger, for you to be just there that it can done when you could have been the soul of the man. They say, do not create fear. I give you the point of love for creation. If you cared about your children on this planet to have the best, your true children come out of your own soul in the coming time. How would you like to educate them? How would you like to be when you are in conflict with yourself and the cause of so much mayhem? This is the truth. And the man will take a long time to understand, as now that we understand the soul of the man is an operator for the creation of the future extent of the life of the man. Whatever is gathered by the soul at the end becomes his point of reference of his own creation of his own dimension. But the strangest thing is, what he creates from his soul shall become the creator of the other souls. This is the beauty about the creation, and one understands it, understands no limitation.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 456th Knowledge Seekers Workshop here on Thursday, October 27th, 2022. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond. I'll be host today for another of these Knowledge Seekers workshops. And fortunately, we're able to have Mr. Keshe present with us once again in these workshops, as he has been in the last 455 regularly. And thank you, Mr. Keshe, for being here today. And take it away, please.
Yes, as we say, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning to all of you. Wherever and whenever you listen to this series of Knowledge Seekers teachings by the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, as part of the knowledge sharing and understanding the new technology. Today, due to some matters which were rather important for us, we had to step back and change the time from morning to afternoon. But this is not the first time we've done. We have done this a few times in the past. What is important is what we gain in knowledge, what we share in knowledge, and how the next steps will come in. As all of you know, we had a number of you in the center in the past few weeks and months, and we have learned a lot from you. We learned a lot, and we added a lot. We extend our knowledge as much as our team can understand that they can build and provide the facilities for it. We have gone very deep in the knowledge. We had some interesting group of people this week, very small number. What our coaches are the tail end of the flights, people who came to test and experience and see what they can help us to add to the knowledge. And we had, in a way, what it is, we tested everything. We needed to have the confirmation that systems are exactly what it is before we go into the next phase. And we had a very interesting experience. The last two people this week, which I think we have ones in the middle, some will come in the future. It was very interesting. One German, one French, don't know each other. And we wanted to understand as a last part, moving from one unit to another. Because before we had husbands and wives, we had couples, we had brothers and sisters, we have mother and son. We used to tell them, if you can go to the other side, they went with a love, so they became part of emotion. But these two guys were strangers. They just met each other and they went in the system. The interesting part is, as one of the last part of the teaching or testing, we asked them to move one to the left and one to the right. And in that process, we asked, as usual, before from the German gentleman, if he can go to the right and how it was felt. And then we did the same thing with the French gentleman. What was interesting, because these two had no relationship, no connection, in putting them into the machines, into the systems, the Frenchman sitting at the front and the German on this side, we asked the German trying to get to the seat on the other side. They're not lovers. They don't understand each other. They have no connection. So the man doesn't sit on the man's lap. He tries to find a space to it. And when we finished, the interesting result came, as we thought, the confirmation of the gentleman felt falling off the chair on the left, as it always is, as they try to go the other one. But the interesting part was the gentleman on this seat felt the push on the side, like a wind trying to push him off the seat to the side, which is confirmation of solar physicality trying to find its position before it manifests itself in the physical dimension. This was important to us as a confirmation that the soul and the solar physicality move to find a position before the physicality arrives. And even they can interact with the soul or physicality of the other person or entity and confirm their existence, confirm their presence, confirm I'm here. This has brought us into a new dimension of work, understanding that is correct what we set up. As we had the others, we had a mother with 2 children this time, and we did a lot of tests. What will happen? What will the children give? What the mother gives? Are the children able to give to the mother? And we gained a lot of understanding in that process. But in a way, we have finished with this system. The next 2 systems, which hopefully will be completed in the next 2 or 3 weeks, maybe by November, at what we call December, are the 2 new systems, what we call, which will take their position in this area, where we should physically transmute a person one to another. Or we try. We have already started setting up to transmute the first person out of the room into the system. We are testing. We've done a lot of tests with it. And we start the first transmutation in American, who will be brought into your environment of the, what we call, flight unit. And at that point, we see how far we can push the envelope in completely holding on, manifesting in this area, and allowing him to become part of the environment of the test flight. In the next few days, we enter negotiations with who and how we'll bring in and how we bring in. We are setting up a criterion to understand. But the technology has moved on. The technology is very advanced. We have managed as a breakthrough to be able to go directly into the next phase of the what we call a space technology. We have managed, we have developed, we are testing what is known as cosmic rays. Because when we finish this unit, which is coming in, we are now going to build another system for a space travel. And up to now, in the systems we have here, we are dealing with man, with the soul of the man, with the physicality of the man, within the space of a room. We have informed you, many of you are aware that in the new year 2023, we're going for a space flight. We have to have the system for it, we just can't do it. To become part of the space technology into deeper space, we need to create, to understand cosmic rays. We need to understand interaction of the fields of the universe. We need to be able to isolate. We need to be able to create a condition that our system is not earthbound, but has a condition of the cosmos. So, Keshe Foundation has achieved creation of the plasmatic cosmic rays, fields. We feel it, we know it, we understand it, and now we are developing a structure to bring these cosmic rays into a totality that when is the room, the 2 systems are as part of one part of the universe. In a way, you move from one room to another. You move in a direction that the totality sits inside. Is not anymore what is, what has been put in. The dimension, the work of the new system is that it becomes a universal system. By the time the 2 units here are ready to go, 2 vertical units are getting developed. Our work will be to transfer people from the room into the vertical units, or from the vertical units to another vertical unit, or from the vertical unit back into the room. So this gives us a new dimension, new opportunities, a new structure to create the condition of transmutation, transportation, and every other things that we need. The biggest, the next step for us to land you on the moon, we had to create the condition of the cosmos. Without cosmic rays, without understanding the interaction of the cosmic rays, man cannot become a traveler of the space. On Earth, we depend on the fields of the gravitational magnetic field of the Earth. In the solar system, we are dependent on the field, the gravitational magnetic field of the solar system. The solar system has its own gravity, has its own magnetical field. Mankind has not even measured that. We consider our gravity on the moon, which is so much lighter than the Earth. Now we have to understand gravitational field, the strength of what we call the solar system. This is why we see weightlessness, because we never understood that is the field, gravitational magnetic field of the solar system. Is not weightlessness. Is you. It's the physicality of the man which has found its balance with it. So if we can survive on Earth, if we can survive on the moon, man should now understand in this, be able to live in the solar system without the place, dimension, and position. For this reason, we need to develop systems that embedded in it, encapsulating it in the fields of not only the solar system, but the fields of the galaxy and the fields of the universe. And we have achieved that. At this moment of time, we have a system that creates that cosmic field rays. We have reached the knowledge, the verge of technology, that when we go to these new two systems, we become part of the universal field forces, where inside it, we create the field forces of the Earth, and inside it, we create the field forces of the soul of the man. Then we travel the man at the strength of his cosmic ray fields to another position, not as an Earth field or as a soul of the man field. Don't forget, the soul of the man has a span of fields. Here, we were at the soul of the man. Here, we are at the soul, the strength of what we call the Earth, the solar system, and somewhere here is the galaxy. Now in this room, now with this system, we have access to the totality. Now you can see how easily I have made the man the traveler of the universe without the fuel, without burning and destroying anything, without traveling hundreds of thousands of light years. Man needs to be enlightened to understand he can reach the strength of the field of the soul of the Creator an instant. This is what we have to understand. This is what the next generation of what we call flight system you come into will take you to. In one step, by adding cosmic rays, by adding the field of strength of the universe in the dimension of the totality of systems, we have brought man in a dimension to become the creator of his own dimension and strength anywhere in the universe. But what happens to you? What will happen in the dimension of physicality? Does the DNA of the man has any meaning in another part of the universe? Or we work on the strength of the soul of the man, and the DNA or the construction of the physicality will take place at the point of the interaction where the totality of the soul of the man meets all the needs of the dimension of physicality. To absorb energy, to exist, to reproduce, and to manifest itself if needed. This development of what we call universal cosmic rays within laboratories of the Keshe Foundation is a major breakthrough in the next steps of the flight and the flight systems which comes into operation. Instantaneous. In a way, we're having two systems feeding each other. We can dictate the span of the fields of the cosmos. We would like this string to be to the moon for this passenger and to the next one to be the next galaxy. Because now we cover the full spectrum of it. Our technicians, our experts who are building it have to understand this before I can move them to the next one. Otherwise, it's a magic job. We are on the verge of a major breakthrough for man to understand the next step, for man to be part of the next step, for man to be one nation. We can extend this field of the two to be the field, the strength of the what we call the solar system, or to be of the earth. When you're in this dimension of the fields, New York, Beijing, Tehran, Mexico City is all the same. Understanding this process, which brings you the totality of understanding the process of the creation. Now, with developing these new, what we call space units, now having and achieved the dimension of what we call cosmic rays in the systems, and the simplicity that we have achieved it, we have developed it, and our people are understanding it, will bring it so sweet knowledge to all of you that in the next few weeks, once these systems are completed and they start running and they start operating, will interact with even the creatures of the universe. We will see them manifest within the systems. We feel their presence, and if we give them the security of the love of the man, love of the creator, they'll manifest themselves within the systems. The only problem is, as I said to a friend of mine, how do the Austrian custom officers will give visa to somebody from planet Zeus when he comes in with no passport? And he comes in the clothes of the skin of the man, understand the totality of the man, he speaks a fluent German, but he's not from here. The confusion for the governments will be bigger than you as knowledge. Development and reaching the production of cosmic rays at the level of the heartbeat of the universe has been one of the major breakthroughs in the development of the science for the space travel. Now we understand that in the next few weeks, those of you who want to be the travel of the universe, the systems have already started to take shape and will be ready in the next 3-4 weeks. Hopefully. If we don't go to another level of the knowledge, which at the moment man cannot understand. So, in the coming weeks, as many of you in the past came and you went to the ocean, you saw the grandmother, you went to the house, or whatever you did, now you will travel the span of the universe. The universal travelers. The first 2 will go to the moon. The next 2 will go somewhere else. And then we start building what we call one planet, one nation, one race, that we can send people, we can accept people, we can bring people from one point to another. The biggest problem for mankind to be able to do the full transmutation was that the soul of the man does not work with the magnetic gravitational field of the earth. It interacts with the fields of the cosmos, fields of the universe. And we could not take man in what we call a transmutation from one place to another in the full dimension of the soul, that conversion to physicality, if we could not have access to direct resources of the cosmic rays. Go back to the teachings of few months, few years, and I repeated it very softly. You pinpoint it. You know where they are in the teaching. I always said, our body not only absorbs the fields, 80% of the energy of itself, we eat 20% of it. The other 80% comes, part of it is cosmic rays, part of it is the energy from the cosmos. Now you understand. Now you see how they get connected. Now you can find references to the teaching of the past. That to be able to take man even from one position on this planet to another, we need to be able to give the fields of the universe availability to it. Because the field of the earth themselves cannot support such a transmutation. The body of the man takes that 28% energy from the matter states, from the condition of this planet. The other 80% that the man never understood how his brain absorbs so much energy comes from the cosmos, comes from the environment of the cosmos, comes from the environment of this planetary system and the cosmos. And we could not make you a full transmutation and a full conversion if we would not have, if we could not deliver the cosmic rays. And now this technology is in the hand of the man, where we do not work with the matter state anymore. You see pictures from NASA with beautiful gases exploding in different colors. Now, through what we showed you as a production of the gases and production of the gases, conversion to gases, was parallel to what is now today, where we do not rely on the fields, matter state. We rely on the fields of the universe. Many of you, when you walk into these systems, you see your soul will shine. You feel the separation of the physicality from the soul of the man. You will see, you will feel the love of the Creator, which is abundant in the universe. Next few weeks, I'll change the history of man. I will change the knowledge of the man, where the man sees the knowledge of the creation and the Creator and no attachment to this dimension of physicality as we see it today. We will understand more that this becomes literally nothing. The knowledge we gathered up to now becomes irrelevant. Now we have access. The way the lady came in, couldn't speak English, and then she could speak English and understand the motion of it. The way people come in and do all sorts of things we've seen, you have access to all of it. When you walk into the new systems, when you walk into these new flying systems, which carries the cosmological field, the strength of the universe, you know you've been touched by the love of the Creator. Those of you who booked in for transmutation, those of you who booked in to go to the moon and the rest, you will feel it. Then the beauty of it is, once you teach you, once you see it, once we open the cage of the soul of the man in the dimension, you become passengers of the universe. As I said, buy a ticket to come to us. It's a one-way ticket. Because once you leave the system, if you decide, if your soul has reached a point of maturity of understanding in the system, you never ever will get into a car. You will not dream how it feels on the backside of the moon. How does it feel on Jupiter, or how does it feel in another galaxy? Because your wish will bring you to that point. You taste it, you smell it, you feel it, the way the knowledge seekers have explained to you who went through the system. They didn't travel, they arrived. Then we understand
how much the knowledge of the man will change. 2023 will be the beginning of the world peace. 2023 will be the beginning of understanding the new knowledge of the creation. 2023 will be where the man becomes educated with the knowledge of the universe and creation the true way, not what is imagined to be. We'll see the troubles of the universe with us, and we become troubles of the universe. Building a system that could deliver cosmic rays, could deliver sustainable cosmic rays, could create gravitational magnetic field of the cosmos was one of the biggest and hardest things for me to teach, because man had to understand. And now we have reached that point. The systems are made. The systems are there. The systems are getting tested. And soon you'll be part of it. Those of you who have signed in to become transmuted, the mobile, they'll be one of the first ones that you will see. You will feel we bring you in. And I hope, my deepest wish is, when you land on the front seat, you come in with a friend from another part of the universe. You have to handle it. To me, they are friends. To you, it's a shock to your system. We try to bring this new dimension that humanity understands the change. We try to bring this dimension in that we can share the knowledge. We will open institutes in specific given positions in the coming months. Tel Aviv, Tehran, London, Arizona, Beijing, Delhi, in Brasilia, and other places will work that the knowledge is shared irrespective of color, race, and religion. And we teach at the same time. The way we teach today, you're online, we teach in all the institutes simultaneously. And this is what you will see coming up in the next few weeks. Establishment of the Spaceship Institute in 12 nations, which are the center of the power and conflict to become one, is the power to bring one race, one nation, one planet into operation. And we are ready for it to go. One of the reasons we delayed the teaching of today was this purpose. We were waiting for the meeting to confirm, to bring everything about that allows us to do. Creating condition, the flight system with the cosmic rays is, in a way, brings you a lot of understanding, new understanding. In a new understanding, once we create the cosmic ray field forces with their own gravitational magnetic field, the matter state materials of our systems becomes irrelevant. They will dilute in the system. The field itself will dominate the room. Still, with the technology which is in our hand, and we understand, we can expand this beyond the dimension of what we call physical observation. Which means the man will not see, but they'll feel. In the room is not your physicality. In the space of the space is your soul. Does your DNA matter anymore? Irrelevant. Does the color of your eye, the color of your skin matters anymore? Irrelevant. The cosmic flight systems is one of the steps that will bring maturity to man. And we especially set up to do this in the past 4 or 5 weeks. And now it's been set up primarily that is ready to be adopted, to be part of the operation of what we call cosmic flights. As we have finished with your flight testing people, your mobile people are the only ones which go through this process. Those of you who signed up to become mobile, now we ask you, those of you who want to be into what we call the moon and the space development, you'll become gradually involved. We'll bring you in the way we brought, the way you came, the way we interacted with you, the mobile, what we call passengers, will be brought in, moved from one place to another, and gradually we establish a new flight system, new arrival system, because you don't fly anymore. You arrive at the destination. This is part of what we call progressive development of the knowledge for us to be. When I walked into the system this week, it was amazing what I could see. When I walked in and I felt the field forces of it, it was amazing how much, how deep I could feel to not the essence of the physicality, but to the essence of the soul. Mankind is ready to take that a step up. And as I said, the new system's getting finished, hopefully in next 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, depending what our people do. We'll start the mobile system transmutation. As I said, our first passenger has been chosen. We have moved certain things to position in Austria that we can deliver, we can go through the process. Then we inform you as a mobile, what we call test people, what you need to do. We ask you clearly what you need to do, where you want to go, and what you have to do before we move. You live in Los Angeles and you want to be in Tehran. You have to follow a process, and systematically we get you deregistered in the United States with American customs, and we enter you into territory of Iran in hand of the Iranian authorities. You want to go to Japan, it's the same. You want to come from Beijing to Austria, it's the same. Till we establish a system that the governments feel free with a movement. The biggest enemy, the biggest block for us coming to this point will be the government trying to control, trying to keep hold, trying to confine. There is one guarantee we will give. Anyone who enters these systems and anybody comes out of these systems will be peaceful, will not be an addict, will not be an alcoholic, and will never commit a crime. This is the cornerstones of the new development of the new technologies. Step by step, we have to, in a way, gain the confidence of what we call different part of this planet, in each other, and in that process, that we don't rely on the world leaders. As I said to the American officials a few days ago, which of the world leaders you want to bring in to stop the mayhem? You don't need to take them to The Hague and go to rigorous ways of months and years of court. You want the world leaders, we move the world leaders to where not the Americans, but where the society as a whole sees them to be fit to be there. Do we need to move the head of the states, which are what we call unjust, to a position of for them to be understanding to their soul, their position, and return them back to their position? No man, no depth of this planet, universe, is far away from our control moment. The reality of the knowledge and the way we will touch will be shown in the coming weeks and months. As some of you know, we have started the shipment of the Universal Enhancement Units as of this month. And this is parallel to what has been achieved and what is going to be done. 6 units are getting set up to go to Arizona. 3 units will end up in the Keshe Foundation, what we call center in Germany. And then the production, which already be paid for the materials, the assembly of will start in December and in January. And we start delivering what we call the enhancement units as we have started this. We'll see, we understand, and we process the whole technology in Mongo. I hope humanity is ready for the change to come. And I hope humanity can understand the change that we bring. And I hope sooner than later, the world governments come to agree that we need to govern as one nation to be able to be governable. Otherwise, there is no way on this planet that you can hide and duck. Development and delivery of the what we call cosmic systems, which can contain the conditions of man's life in the universe, is in the process of completion. We can change, keep the dimension of the cosmos fields as it is for all the universe, and change the parameters inside to the Earth level, to the level of the fields of a dog, a man, a tree. You want to feel how a tree feels? Now, with the completion of the dimension of cosmic freeze, in a way to hold on, to get everything done, is possible. You wanted to know how it feels to be from another point and place in the universe. You change the environment inside the gravitational field string and the heartbeat and the condition of the field forces of the gravitational magnetic field of the position in time and space, you will arrive there instantaneously. As I said, many of you came at the beginning, and I repeated that many times, when you said you went to the depth of the ocean, when the first knowledge seekers came and said they could feel the moon and they could pick up the stones, we didn't laugh. We just learned from you how far our technology is correct. You can feel. Now we have to give you the physicality. Physicality could not be confirmed on the moon and Mars because we don't have the cosmic ray levels that it could support the life on the moon. Now we can. Now we have. And very soon, as I said to our colleagues in NASA, you choose. We'll take you there. And this is the understanding of the totality of knowledge of the creation. In the bandwidth of the strength of the life of the man in the dimension of the soul, we have the dimension fields of the universe and the universe. We didn't know. As we didn't know that our soul is in the center of our body, now we can move to that position instantaneously. It's for man to understand the dimension of the field forces of his creation, and for man to understand the power that this new technology will give to man. Man will live for thousands of years, millions of years on the planetary Earth dimensional size. We'll try to explain this in more detail, that gradually in the next 4 or 5 weeks, those of you who have registered for what we call mobile system, to be prepared to move. We don't want to bring you here to Austria. After the first 2 or 3 trials, we want you to appoint a place and a time on this planet. And then we move you. Then we put you there and then. And we allow you to be in that position. And you have to be prepared that whatever you receive at point of arrival, you have to accept, because that was your wish. You live in the cold places in Canada, and you wish at that time to be in California or Florida with your son or your brother. You will end up suntanned, perfect American accent, and with the clothes to be on the beach, which your soul chooses to be to cover itself. It'll be very interesting. How many of you will make an appointment with your brother or your lover in the deep oceans in a submarine? And how many of you will go in the depths of the caves to see if I can be seen, I can be taken through the earth materials? Test us. The only thing is, you can fail. Part of your leg will be on the top of the mountain and the rest of you down in the cave. It will be fantastic to see how fast you generate the leg you missed on top of the mountain. But this is now a reality, as the Frenchman felt the push of the soul, of the physicality of the German. As I always say, welcome you to the new world of science, technology, and understanding of the creation of life on this planet. And I hope we'll see the end of all the miseries and mayhems for the human race. We go for a break, we come back, and we answer you a few questions. And as late, we end up within an hour or two of this week's teaching. Break. Would you like to take us to a break? And
sure.
Can you show us what we call the pictures and the paintings and the other things and the machineries which are now in the center, but what do you call it? We've seen enough of them.
You want to show that after the break, you mean?
You know, as a break, in your break.
Oh, it's part of the break. Okay.
Part of the break shows us different variations.
Okay.
This, what you have, is one of the paintings.
Yes. Okay. I decided to put that as a background image for
it's
today.
Beautiful. It's done by an Italian artist. Hopefully soon we have offered her an exhibition in Linz to her, for her to run an exhibition in the center. And you've seen a lot of beautiful work from this artist. If you're an artist, send us your work and we'll see what we can do with it.
Okay, we'll have a look at some of the other artwork that's been available and is available. Some of them have been sold, but
yes, so you can commission what you want to be drawn. Very much.
Okay, this is the Keshe Foundation store site where those the Gans artwork is shown and the Gans paintings. Let me put the link for that into the chat here so that people have that available. To all of our chats. And so when we go to that page, we have, well, it shows the cycle of life cups, #1, and then it shows Gann's artwork, which includes sculptures and artwork and handcraft. We looked at the plasma spiral previously, and it's now sold. And we do see a plasma pyramid here. So that's something that folks can consider. And that's what's available currently in that category. And if we go back to that original page and scroll down a little bit, you'll find the Gann's paintings. And it mentions these these four paintings are pairs. Pairs are painted always with the same ganses, that the pairs are connected with a ratio of 2:1. The plasma fields can be clearly felt if you stand in between.
I like this painting. It's in the exhibition center. It's just arrived, and it's beautiful. It's amazing.
And which one would go with that? Would it be this one?
It's a pair of them.
Yeah, they're not really lined up on the. We see the two spirals. So
You see, yeah, this one is opposite to the other one. Yeah,
there's another one like that though too.
This is the pair of them. Yeah.
And does this one? Maybe this one goes with the
No, it's exactly the same. No, that one is exactly the same. It's a parallel two of them.
Okay.
Yes, this is always two matching the same. And
okay. So with the spiral, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's been made this way.
And so with the spirals, are they both exactly like this, or is there one?
There's another one.
This color.
Yes.
That's
yes, okay. Yes.
So those two spirals come as a pair. That's the idea, I guess.
Yep. These are beautiful paintings, and we try to bring in more other artists, Keshe Foundation artists. And the beauty with it is you feel the energies, you understand. And next week, we will display, if you remember Joel from France, we will display the wines which are made by ganses. We cannot sell what they call wines or alcohol. It'll be there to show another dimension in plasma technology. We have received bottles of this product, and to get involved in it is not our job. And even for the vineyard, is a lot of certification, licensing, and if they can export it, this is a different, what you call it, ball games, which is not our job. We put in the bottle of the wine, and with the name of the vineyard on it, to show the first, what we call wine ganses. And you make, if you want, directly in touch with the vineyard to order or see if you can get some. But in principle, we put it as a sample to show the application of the technology, the way we did with the what we call paint pen, paint pads, the paintings, the sculpture. Now it's another dimension into what we call application, which is used and done, and you can go directly to the vineyard and order whatever you like. But for us is to show how it's done, because the what we call how it was produced and what it was done is in the archives of the Keshe Foundation, where we saw visual with the videos and everything else which he provided us. And thanks to him, he is at the moment very openly helping anybody wants to be taught and how help with the vineyards and some knowledge seekers have already been in touch with him to get help or to understand what was done. Anything else?
I found the other pair to the other one that's like this.
Yeah.
That we saw. I think this is the match
the pair
down here.
Yes. Yep.
So you have to go by
find your pair.
Yeah, find the pair. You have to part of the
it's good, at least you
exercise
see
to find
everything. Yes.
And you can go by the
name.
By the names here. That if it's universe 1 and 2, then you find universe, and they're all named at least. So
yeah,
there's the lighthouse one.
This lighthouse one is beautiful as a pair. Everything when you pay for a pair of them is that each one you pay that price. The sculpture, the first sculpture is already sold, and the second sculpture arrived last week, which you see the pyramid. And as I said, we would like to see what else you make and how you make it, and how you, what do you call it, evolve it and develop it, that we can support you in the technology. And we'll let you know as more artists or more artisans trying to work with us. Shall we go into any questions? And we can shorten it this week.
Okay. All right. Well, the floor is open for our attendees here. They can raise their virtual hands if you have a question for Mr. Keshe. And those are in the live stream and YouTube can post a question in the chat if you like. I've got a message from live stream from Nick. Says, hi, Rick, can you ask Mr. Keshe, my favorite teacher? I need his help on a soul level for 6 years. I've had someone manipulating me. He has been enlightened, but has taken to try to ruin me. Maybe he can do a prayer for maybe I think he's referring to Mr. Keshe can do a prayer for me when he is in the fields of the machine. Thank you.
We leave that to the Universal Council and those who are there.
Okay. So should Nick try to contact the Universal Council, or is that all just...
You don't need to do it. It's not on the soul level. You see, sometimes we think, but there's no reality to it, of what we call it's our emotion, which feels somebody has done this or whatever. But we don't bring more in that kind of thing.
Well, he says thank you so much. In case
we are scientific work, and we thank you.
Your sound is breaking up there, Mr. Keshe. I mean, it was sound bandwidth.
Yep, maybe. Any other question?
I have a question. Thank you, Rick. Hello, Mr. Keshe. Did you see or feel me? Because I had a dream that you helped me to transmute from one unit to another unit. And no, not now.
No.
I mean, maybe 1 month before.
Nope.
No.
And even if I do, I won't tell you anyway.
And before this, I went to the moon, and I have seen there everything was green, not vegetation, anything, only dust and gray dust. It was my vision there. I vision when I went there. And
You should have brought part of the Apollo 1 back to us from the moon landing site.
yeah.
Then we would have believed you. No.
No. Anyway, I didn't want to share this with you. Maybe it was my wish. And my soul, during my sleeping time, get freedom and came to you in Linz, and you helped me to transmute from one unit to another unit. It was like this. I remember very well. Yeah. Anyway,
very much.
And thank you very much. Much love to you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Any other question? Or is there anything else?
Stephanie in the chat says the blue lady belongs to the red lady. I think that's true. You have to look at the names you have to go to the site and click on the pictures. I'm not sure which one you're referring to there. You can click on the names and then see if the names line up, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a question from YouTube from, there's a couple of questions actually from We Are Plasma, who says the butterflies from the Keshe Foundation have started changing over time since we began using them. It seems a white material is being produced. What is happening in these exactly? Can you elaborate?
What do you mean? The butterflies,
I
they
guess
interact. These butterflies are living things. That's why I say if somebody tells you this is whatever, the butterflies you see are a living field. Is not something just a black bees. They interact with the environment. They absorb energies from the environment. They give to the environment. So you might see change of color. You might see absorption of some material. It might fit in the environment where you live. Could be saturated with certain kind of fields and matter state that they manifest themselves with it. The construction of them have made them to be that way. They're constructed in a specific way, but they do interact with the whole of the environment.
You can see in the image here, this is what's referred to as the Keshe Foundation butterfly. And you can see in the store, it mentions about it and describes it.
They're in a vacuum pack. So unless you made a hole in whatever in a vacuum pack, they don't interact with the environment.
And they're, just to be clear, they're made to stay in the vacuum pack, correct?
Yeah, they have to stay in the vacuum pack, yeah.
So if changes happen to the structure of it or the coding or something, it's not something to be concerned about. It's just
no, it's
reacting
what
to
is
its
reacting to the
environment.
environment. Yeah, that's what they are.
In the YouTube, Cock Van Gallen says, any more news on the med beds production?
We have nothing to do with that. That's
Right.
anything else.
I am in YouTube says, how to dissolve ourselves after manifesting physically if we want to return.
You don't dissolve, you transmute. And there is a way in our body, in our system, which we can do, and we always do. It's like when you dream, you go somewhere else. When you wake up, you're not somewhere else, you're still in the same bed. So there is a way in the structure of the, what we call dimension of the soul of the man, the soul of physicality, which keeps a connection to the position and the space of the movement. You can go to 20 different places and then want to come back to the first place, you can still do that.
Okay, in YouTube, someone called Time asks, how can we separate the different emotional histories of the plasma fields?
What was that?
I don't know. I'll try the question again. How can we separate the different emotional histories of the plasma fields? Is there an emotional history with the plasma field?
Everything has a history.
So if a plasma field has an emotional history, how can that be separated since the fields are interacting so much?
It's traces. I spoke about this a long time ago. It's traces. You always leave traces as part of the structure of the field of the universe. This is how magnetic fields work. You can always go back down the road to the trace.
Hmm. Okay. We Are Plasma comes back with, they had previously asked about the butterflies, and they say, does this mean radiation is being absorbed by them, by the butterflies? The vacuum pact is intact. There's a whitish material, almost like dried GANs, that has been emitted from the black.
They're in a vacuum pack, so there should be no material with them. They are built not to have anything with them.
It says it's turned totally white.
You're absorbing something, or a process is happening within the layers. It's absorbing a field and producing. It has matched to your environment, to the strength of some materials, that it converts their fields into matter state inside. These are vacuum packed, special packing material, and they usually shouldn't have anything inside them unless you do a transformation of the field. Or you have a hole you cannot see, that you allowed something to enter. Any other question? I said to one of the knowledge, I said, if you want a cheap ticket to go from, what do you call it? From one person on this planet. Now it's time for it to do.
Okay, we have a hand up from Stephanie next.
Yes, hello, Mr. I want to question is, yeah?
Yes, you're breaking
My question
up.
is, what is about the pole shift? I have heard this will be magnetic field.
You're breaking
will
up.
change
You're
in the
breaking up.
next
You're
6
breaking up.
months. And has it something to do with?
Is it me who's breaking up?
No,
Ja,
yes.
weil du Deutsch sprichst.
Her voice is breaking up. There's a bandwidth issue there. We got most of it. Something about
I changed to English. Is it okay now?
Yes, but we get you broken up.
Yeah, because
just ask your question again, please.
Okay, now I ask because I was in the German channel and so it was double. Okay, I want to ask what happens when the pole shift? I have heard this will be in the next maybe 6 months. It's really early. And has it something to do with us, with the transformation or the our flights, or yeah, I want to
primarily nothing should happen.
Sorry again, please.
I said primarily nothing should happen. It's just a shift. Everything shifts from what do you call it, North Pole to South Pole, as I call it. Okay. It's a saturation. Nothing should happen. Okay. I explained this to a child. What happened? Doesn't make any difference if you're standing up or I hold your legs upside down. You're still there. You still live. Okay. It's just a field, and everything will switch with it. Then it settles in the same position. And if such a thing happens and we see it, will be registered in the geological layers as the previous times has done. We'll see it.
And it has nothing to do with the 3 days of darkness?
I don't think so.
Okay. And
if it has, what do you call it? The sun changes polarity so often we don't see it, and everything else.
Okay. One small question, please. The plasmatic mirrors. Is there? You told it's very good for the transformation, the mobile transformation. I have heard you told it. And is there special training I can do?
No, you can use it when we go. The people who chose the mobile.
Okay.
Is the best thing for it to do, because we can do. Now that we have gone into the cosmology or what called cosmic rays, a lot of new technologies will come up. You will understand a lot of things. A lot of new understandings in coming weeks and months will come out of the Keshe Foundation. Because up to now we didn't have access to create cosmic rays. Now we can, cosmic fields. Then it brings new dimensions into that in a lot of works.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and in our Q&A, Stefania has a question from Italy. It says, in Italy, people that make glass or glasses are closing down. So can plasma technology help them as they use a lot of electricity and gas?
How can we help them?
I'm not sure what she means. Like, do they?
Yeah, it's the energy costs. They cannot sustain energy costs. The cost has gone so high. It economically is not viable to run them anymore. The price of the gas and electricity, especially in Italy and Europe, has gone so high that a lot of factories, a lot of businesses which were using a lot of electricity or gas are running into trouble. You see that in a very straightforward way, with, as I said before in a few teachings before, is you go to the supermarkets and you see the prices of tomatoes going sky high. They used to be €1 per kilo, now about 3, 4, or 5 euro a kilo. All because the cost of the energy, they use a lot of gas to grow tomatoes in some of the greenhouses, because they use the CO2 for the growth of them. So you're paying for Mr. Putin's expensive gas. Any other question?
Dan had a question in the YouTube chat. How does it affect the way of thinking in life for when a soul, this technology, is no longer in the first place and has found other priorities?
It'll be very interesting. That's for sure. You have to adapt to it. We learn. We learn when we immigrate from one country to another. We have to live with the new language or whatever. Man, very quickly we'll learn how to live with this transmutation through the soul. Very, very quick. Quicker than you think. You'd be so busy with it, you don't even remember you've done it. Any other question?
In the mobile transformations from Stephania, there's Stephanie in the chat. Mobile transformation, can I take my dog with?
Yes, you can bring a suitcase.
Okay, from Elizabeth in the Q&A. Want to thank you again for all the love
We
that you
become-
give us.
We
Sorry.
become like Ryanair. For extra suitcase, you pay 1,000 extra, and for a backpack, it'll be half price. For the dog, will be 3 times the price.
How is
Small dog.
Pardon? The size doesn't make any difference.
Small dog.
The size doesn't matter. It's just the soul we have to carry.
When my dog comes, I stay here.
Okay, what were you reading, please?
Elizabeth is in the Q&A. It says, first, I thank you again for all the love which you give us through knowledge. How is the construction of the city based on plasma technology going, and can it be replicated in other countries? Thanks for your answer.
It's something we work on in the background. We're involved in 2, 3 different locations. And because of what we went out to do in past 12 months, we left a lot of these just being there till we are ready for it. And I hope we're very soon ready for. And with what we achieve now, where we are now, we should be able to create new dimensions even in what we wanted to do before. I'll explain this in a very, very slow way, that how we can actually create the fields of without the matter states, and how we have to deliver it in step-by-step position next few months. And then you will understand, do we need to build the cities the way we do? And do we need a lot of things which we have in the cities today? I don't see any room for hospitals the way we have it today. I don't see any room for courts and judges. Don't see any room for prisons. Don't see any place for churches and mosques, because the soul of the man is mature to understand the truth. Don't see any reason for places we call palaces and what we call center of power. Gradually we'll come to understand it very, very slowly, and we'll change for it and by it. Do we need? There is no need for power stations. There is no need for power water supply centers that we build our cities around water supply position. A lot of things will change. A lot of things.
Okay, question in the Q&A from Cristiano. Good afternoon, Mr. Keshe, Rick, and everyone present. When the Lord said that a material state within the system is irrelevant, we can compare with the human system, that when we ingest food, from the moment it enters the mouth, it no longer behaves like a material state, but as fields. Question. That is why we say that it is so in the macro as well as the micro, the universe that is inside of us.
Yeah, more or less, or 100%. Micro and macro is the soul of the man, the physicality of the man. And then it changes to physicality of the man and the soul of the man, going from inside out. It's the same. Life will carry on in both dimensions.
There's a saying, make the inner as the outer and the outer as the inner, and then make the two one.
Yeah. We are running into about 8:30, 8:40. Shall we call it a day for today? It's been a long day. Thank you very much. I hope we gave you enough information and knowledge today to understand the changes will come, and the changes which are on the way, and how humanity will handle this new change is another point to manage. Thank you very much, Rick, and hopefully we see you next week.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you for another Knowledge Seekers workshop here, number 456 today on Thursday, October 27th, 2022. Thank you, everybody, for attending today's workshop. And our next public teaching workshop is, let's see, coming up. We will be into November then, November 1st, Tuesday, November 1st. Will be the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace, starting at 4 p.m. Central European Time. And actually, the time will change as well. That time won't change, but time for others will change with the time change that occurs on Sunday, where Central European summer time changes to Central European time. So you'll have to note your local time change for the show on Tuesday, and also for next week's Thursday show as well. Okay, I think that's all of our announcements for now. So again, thanks everyone for being here, and thank you, Mr. Keshe, for presenting today's workshop and all of the previous workshops and all of the work that's done. Thank you. All right, we'll go out with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version, and we'll see you all in the next public teaching workshop.